So I think a good place to start is we need to have a shared understanding of what a trans person is, or at least a workable definition, right? So there's a lot of different ways people describe this as someone who experiences gender dysphoria, as someone who switches their pronouns or dress, whatever. I find the most helpful one is that a trans person is anyone who steps outside of their gender assigned at birth to take on a new identity in whatever form or way that is. When we say assigned or gender at birth, that's just what's on your birth certificate, M or F. When we say assigned female at birth, that's that F on your birth certificate, and assigned male at birth is that M on your birth certificate. A cis person then is anyone who's not trans. These are just the Latin prefixes, right? Like a interstate. Uh, So a trans person, someone who stepped outside of their gender assigned at birth, and a cis person, someone who has stayed there. Now, I often get asked, what's the polite way to ask? Were you born as a man, as a woman? What are you now? Basically, which way are you going? And the kind way to say that is someone is female to male, or trans masculine, or trans mask, if you're being short. Someone who is assigned female at birth and is transitioning to be a man. And female to male, or sorry, male to female would be the opposite of that. Someone who is assigned male at birth and is now transitioning to be a woman. The easiest way I find to keep track of this is if you say someone is a trans woman, they are transitioning to be a woman. If someone is a trans man, they are transitioning to be a man. Non-binary, that's another one that gets thrown up a lot. If we think of gender as a binary, right, one and two, male and female, non-binary is just someone who doesn't fit into either of those categories. It can be very unique for a lot of different people, but basically they just don't fit into either of those smaller boxes. Gender fluid, like a fluid, changes from day to day, week to week. So it's someone whose gender isn't static, kind of shifts and flows around like a river. And agender is someone who doesn't identify with a gender at all. So this is someone who doesn't feel that they really fit into that spectrum binary in any capacity. Uh, Again, really highly unique and individual. I know when I talk about this with people, they're like, I don't really, I can't imagine what that looks like. And it's like, you'll meet someone and then you can ask them about it. I don't think there's a concise and clear way to kind of paint that picture for you. And sex and gender. You've probably heard that these are different things. So, sex is a set of physical characteristics determined by your sex chromosomes. So, X or Y. If you have a Y chromosome, you usually have what we call male sex characteristics. So, a penis, testes, a lot of body hair. If you have two X chromosomes, you have what we call female sex characteristics. So, breast, uterus, that whole shebang. I do want to create a little air that 1.7% roughly of live births are called intersex, where the physical characteristics don't match up with the chromosomes, which sounds like a small number, but when you actually think of 1.7% of everyone is not that simple, and we start to see what we mean by there is no such thing as biological sex because a significant amount of people don't fit into it. It's not as simple to say half are men, half are women. Like 1.7% isn't nothing. If you think of, the size of your church or parish and imagine 1.7% of those people don't fit into those boxes, suddenly you think of sex differently. And gender just being the social definition of sex. So, uh, what we would describe as a woman, which are usually social things, right? By job, dress, makeup, things you're not born with. You don't come out of the womb wearing a dress and heels, right? So we call that social rather than biological.